Well, we know the story, don't we? When Labour were in opposition, they promised the women who were looking to be compensated for not receiving the amount of state pension they thought they were going to get, they promised them that they would sort it out when they got into power. And now they've said that they won't. So is the government right not to pay compensation to what are known as the Waspi women? Campaigners have sworn that the fight ain't over, not for the millions of women who were born in the 50s, who say that they were not properly informed of the rise in state pension age to bring them in line with men. But as we now know, the government is not saying what they said when they were in opposition. They're now saying that 90% of the women were aware of the changes, so there isn't really that big a problem. And anyway, they can't afford to sort it out.
Well, one woman who's been affected is Elizabeth Latham. The 69-year-old had to keep struggling with her supermarket job in her early 60s, despite poor health because of the state pension age change. She's also lost this year's winter fuel payment.
The taking away of the winter fuel allowance was the first stab in the back. And now this thing with the Waspi situation is just unacceptable. When I was on low wages, it was meaning that I couldn't pay the national insurance contributions to get the full amount. So I just get the amount that I get now, which is £140 less a month now to what most get. There is serious anger amongst the generation, and we've been seriously targeted unfairly and wrongly.
Former Labour advisor Scarlett Maguire thinks the government made the right decision. But broadcaster and author May Mangan says they've stolen years from her pension pot. Good morning to both of you. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. Scarlett, let's start with you. There have been a lot of criticisms about this, haven't there? There's been accusations of betrayal. There was, it's being seen as a U-turn on pledges that were made. But you think that the government's made the right decision on this?
Yeah, look, I think to say the government have messed this up is putting it mildly, right? I think that what happened before was absolutely wrong. But frankly, we're talking about a minimum of £10 billion. There just isn't £10 billion. I think the government... I actually think it was a very brave decision to say, no, we're not going to compensate. This isn't like the post office, which is going to take an awful lot of money. This isn't like the infected blood scandal, right? This is something where actually, the women, we were all... I'm one of them. We've known for years what it meant was that women had to work longer and harder.
Did you not feel angry about it, though?
No, I don't feel angry. I knew that it was changing. And I just went on working.
Well, that's great. Just one second. When you say brave decision, is that careful use of language? And I seem to remember that's what Sir Humphrey used to say in Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister. That's a very brave decision, Prime Minister. What he meant was, that's a terrible decision, don't do it.
No, I think because I think it was a decision that they knew they were going to get this absolute... That's right. And I think it would have really, really helped had they thought it through before the election. But actually, I think they have now made the right decision.
I think they did think it through before the election. I think they used these women as collateral, electoral collateral, and then they pulled back once they were elected. Angela Rayner, I think it's 75 times she's recorded online and in person, holding up signs saying, I'm with the Waspi women. I think the next episode of Traitors on the BBC should have all the cabinet members in their cloaks because they've lied. And the other thing they've done is that why do we have an ombudsman service? They've flown in the face of the ombudsman service. And they get people like you, Scarlett, to come on, Labour supporters, to put lipstick on a pig. But both with the heating allowance and this is a slap in the face to women of my age.
And he's also...
One more last thing. Keir Starmer yesterday said 90% of women knew. So not only has he robbed us, but he's calling us liars now. They collected my taxes, they knew where I was all those years, and nobody sent me a letter.
And what do you think about the fact that, Scarlett was saying there just isn't the money...
Oh, what about
to pay this?
Well, I never normally bring notes in, but I've got a list here of all the things they have spent money on. And Waspi women deserve this payment.
Go on, give us a couple of...
we've got carbon initiatives, 22 billion, 11.6 in foreign aid, climate aid, untold billions to Ukraine, 14 billion to foreign aid in general, home spending on people who come into the country who've never contributed.
All right, so
tough decision, black hole. Let's hear Scarlett say that, because every single Labour person quotes that now.
Completely cynical view. Are we seeing there the Labour Party pitching for 3.5 million votes, saying, vote for us and we'll sort your pension out. If you don't vote for us, you won't get your pension. But if you vote for us, get us in, we'll do the job for you. And then when they get in, they do a complete U-turn. Yeah, 5 months later.
I think it's unbelievable how badly this has been handled. What I'm saying is, and I'm not here as a Labour Party person, actually, I mean, I haven't...
But you're supporting what they've done?
No, I'm supporting their decision. What I'm saying is that what happened during the election was wrong.
So do you think they've lost their memory or their morals? Which is it?
No. I'm saying that what they did was... I think the decision was right. I actually think that 10 billion or more, I mean, that's a minimum, or more.
So let's do the whataboutery then. So what we're going to talk about now, child property, national health. Yeah, you have to wait. You women wait. Do you know every 13 minutes a Waspi woman dies? So soon the problem will be out of the window. They won't have to pay anybody because they'll all be dead.
Well, I don't think that because a decision was made in 1995 to change the pension age to equal it to men, right?
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
No one's arguing with that.
It didn't happen for another 15 years. Yeah. It was debated. Most people did know about it.
But there were some that didn't know about it. The Independent Ombudsman did say that compensation should be given on that basis because of the fact that not all women knew about it, because of the miscommunication. It is interesting, though, isn't it, that that's been ignored, that recommendation?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's been ignored because actually what you're saying at the moment is that all women, like me, right, who had their pension changed, right, so they didn't get it until 66, they should all be compensated for the loss. And what I'm saying is there are hard cases, right? There are absolutely not, and I'm incredibly sympathetic. But for most women, they did what most men did, and they just worked.
But the figure that was quoted yesterday that is unaffordable, according to this government, was the full fat version. Would you have accepted a cut deal if they said, look, we can't pay you the full amount that we'd hoped to? We've looked at the books now. We're terribly sorry. We didn't mean to mislead you, but we will give you X amount. Would you have accepted a deal?
No, because that was my money. Right. That's my money they're talking about. And like I say, they could have contacted me at any point, and they didn't. And the Ombudsman Service, they could save a few bob by junking that because they're obviously setting these things up and then ignoring them. I'll tell you something, I think the same PR people who are advising Harry and Meghan have been advising the Labour Party because they haven't put a foot right since they came in.
OK, well, listen, we're going to put this question to the viewers because we've been asking you, is it right for the government to refuse compensation to the Waspi women? This is the result. 67% of you said no. 33% of you said yes.
Two-thirds are with you.
Voting
and a third is with you.
And thank you both for joining us this morning.